In this lecture, we are going to see 5 different but feature-rich speed testing tools for websites. While all the 5 do the same thing, that is, they are going to test the page loading speed of websites, but they differ in features. The first one that we are going to see is webpagetest.org. I have set up a test website called Udemy SEO for this course to demonstrate you how the website performs before optimizing it for speed and how can we optimize it and how it performs after the speed optimization. The special feature of this tool, that is web page test, is it segregates each and every part of optimization and it effectively tells you what is the part that you need to concentrate to optimize your website for speed. The other special feature of web page test is it tests the speed of the website twice. That is, when the web page is tested for the first time, nothing of the web page is cached. So everything loads fresh. But when you refresh the web page or when you visit the same web page the second time, the images and some other elements will be cached by the browser by default. So the time taken for the repeated loading is considerably lesser compared to first time of loading. You can see that the first view load time is 4.3 seconds, whereas the repeated view is just 1.8 seconds for this test website. Let's move to the next tool, that is GT metrics. You could have noticed that the page loading time or page size and number of requests differ from one tool to another. This is because of different operating system, different browser, different connection speed, etc. But it's a responsibility of the website administrator to test his or her website with these different type of tools, and he should analyze the maximum loading time that is given by these tools. So let's move into GT metrics. The important feature of this tool is it gives you Google page speed score and Yahoo Y slow score. Also, it shows you the waterfall model of your page loading. In the upcoming lectures, we will see how to interpret these data and how we can optimize our website. But in this lecture, you are going to learn just an introduction about these page speed test tools. Another important feature of GT metrics is it also captures the individual culprit, which increases the page load time of your website. And GT metrics also tells you how you can minimize or avoid such things from your website. So let's come to the next tool, which is Monetize page speed tool. By this time of completing our page speed test from web page test and GT metrics, we could have identified all the issues that are present in our website. But this Monetize tool tells you how much is the time taken when a visitor views your website from United States, Europe, and also Asia Pacific regions. This helps you to decide whether you want to move to cloud hosting or you should buy a CDN, etc. That is the only benefit of this Monetize page load tool. Let's move to Pingdom speed test. Pingdom also gives you the performance grade, which is similar to Google page speed score. Also, it gives you the page analysis, which means are there any redirects or server error or connection error in your website? And also, it tells you the history of your website performance. I tested the performance of this website today. If I check the performance after a week or after a month, then I can compare how the performance has improved after optimization and before optimization. It also tells you how much faster is your website compared to all other websites. Like Monetize tool, you can also choose manually the server from which you want to test your website. Let's come to the last and final tool, which is Website Pulse. Even though all other tools provide you this waterfall model, they are a bit confusing, and that's why I use Website Pulse to analyze the waterfall flow of page loading of my website. In this lecture, you are going to learn how to be fail-safe before doing the optimization of page speed in your website. So what is fail-safe? There is a minimum probability that While optimizing your website or while installing the bunch of plugins that I'm going to demonstrate in this section, you may break your website. In such case, you should be able to restore your website to a working state. That's why I advise you to take the database backup. To create the database backup of your WordPress website, come to Add Plugins page and search for Database Backup. Among the list of plugins that are displayed to you, choose WP Database Backup and click Install. To speed up the process, I have already installed and activated this plugin. To create a WordPress database backup, after installing and activating this plugin, go to Tools and click WP DB Backup. This will open a page like this. Once you have opened this page, click Create New Database Backup, which will create a database of your website, of course, the WordPress website, and store it in your server. Once the process is completed, you can download the backup file from here to keep a backup in your computer rather than in a server. To restore this backup, you can either click this Restore Database Backup button, or if you even can't enter into the WordPress dashboard, then you can use this backup in PHP MyAdmin page and restore into the appropriate database table of your WordPress website. In this lecture, we are going to see an introduction to various caching plugins that are available for WordPress. But before going into that, you need to know why we should install a caching plugin in WordPress. Coming to the web page test that I showed you in earlier lectures, the most important recommendation by web page test is the F grade for cache static content. When I click on that, the recommendation given by web page test optimization is to leverage browser caching of static assets. So I have got a score of only 59 out of 100. So these are the assets that are yet to be cached by using a WordPress caching plugin. But you should know that I have configured Cloudflare CDN site-wide, that is my server-wide. Whatever site that I install in my server, all of these websites will be served by Cloudflare. So what difference does it make? Cloudflare automatically caches my HTML, CSS, JS, all these files. And that's why even without installing a caching plugin, my score went up to 59 out of 100. You can confirm the same in GTmetrix test 2. Here, my recommendation is to leverage browser caching for all these assets. It also mentions to specify a cache validator for these items. If you have got a recommendation like this, then you need to install a caching plugin in your WordPress website. When I search for cache in Add Plugins WordPress page, there are multiple plugins that appears. Most of these does the function of caching, but which one you should choose? Normally people go by the number of installations or the number of reviews or ratings. In such case, what is the plugin that you will go? Obviously, it's W3 Total Cache, isn't it? WP Super Cache is a plugin officially by WordPress.com's another brand called Automatic, and another famous cache plugin is WP Fastest Cache and WP Super Cache. But the main difference between these plugins and W3 Total Cache is that W3 Total Cache not only serves as a page cache plugin, it also minifies HTML, JavaScript, CSS, can also be used to cache database or object, and it can automatically configure your website to Cloudflare, which is a free CDN, isn't it? So I recommend you to install W3 Total Cache if you want to speed up the process. If that's the case, then why all these other plugins are so famous? It's because configuring W3 Total Cache is somewhat difficult. But don't worry, I'm here to take you step by step in the process of W3 Total Cache plugin configuration. In this lecture, we are going to install, activate, and configure
W3 Total Catch plugin in our WordPress website. In the Add Plugins page, search for Catch or Total Catch, and this W3 Total Catch plugin will appear. Click Install Now button. Once installed, click Activate Plugin. By default, Total Catch asks you to enable Edge mode. Edge mode is something like a beta in the softwares that we use in desktop. This Edge mode consists of pre-release features. There may be some bugs, but from my experience, Edge mode is almost stable, so you can enable it. Click here to enable Edge mode. Once you have enabled it, you will be directly taken to the dashboard of Total Catch plugin. You can configure several other things in Total Catch, but it will be appropriate to explain you the configuration of those pods under appropriate sections in this course. So for now, let's use this Total Catch plugin and configure it to speed up our website. Before going into that, you may want to run or perform a compatibility check. This is because there are so many options to catch your web page. Once you run this compatibility test, you can easily know what are all the techniques that you can use in this W3 Total Catch plugin. For example, HTML TD extension is installed in my server. So I can use TD to compress or to minify HTML. Like this, it's easy to assess what type of function you can use. So let's close it for now and let's go to general settings. The first setting, that is toggle all catching types on or off, and the preview mode. This is to preview how this total catch functions, but that's not needed. Let's configure this total catch plugin in real time. First of all, enable the page cache and choose disk enhanced if you're in a shared server. If you use a dedicated server or multiple servers, for example, some hosting providers provide memcached servers separately for their users, and they specifically mention while you are buying the hosting. In such case, this memcache will be enabled for you and you can choose memcached. If you are using virtual private hosting or virtual private server, then you can choose any one of these opcodes. If you have an option to configure your virtual private server, then I recommend you to install eAccelerator in your virtual private server and then choose opcode eAccelerator. Since I am in a shared hosting, let me choose disk enhanced. Now come to Minify and click enable. Leave it to auto. Sometimes Total Catch may inform you that auto option gives some errors. In such case, you need to click manual and we need to configure the Minify settings separately here. Let's do that step by step. For now, let me click auto and proceed to the below options. Database catch and object catch. Don't choose both of them, choose any one of them. For example, this database catch is best used only if object catching is not possible. So if this checkbox is available for you to enable, then choose object catch and leave the database catch unchecked. Coming to browser catch, by default, browser catch will be enabled on installation of this Total Catch plugin itself. If you have got any of the CDN that are available here, for example, Mac CDN or Amazon CloudFront, you can choose one of them and click enable. But I use Cloudflare. Cloudflare is not listed here and it works somewhat different compared to these CDNs. So in case if you are using Cloudflare, don't tick enable here. Now come down and click save all settings. As I said earlier, this plugin could not solve the Minify auto issue automatically. So I'm clicking OK. It also displays a message that Minify auto does not work properly. So it asks me to use the manual mode in Minify catch method. So let me tick the unticked options and tick manual. then click Save All Settings again. Now let's enter into the Minify cache. Don't choose Minify here. This will bring you to the Minify in the general settings. Choose Minify in the left side panel. This is the Minify options that are available to us. For now, just choose HTML Minify settings and enable JavaScript minification, CSS minification, and then click Save All Settings. We have got a score of 87 and 82 before optimizing or before installing this Total Cache plugin. Let's check now. Our score has improved from 82 to 85 percentage, and we have reduced 0.1 second page load time. Also, you can see the leverage browser caching or for the items that loads outside of my domain. That is, these are the items that are loaded outside of inspirearun.com domain. We can do some tricks or we can install another plugins to deal with these items. But let me take you step by step so that you will understand how the speed optimization works in an organized manner. As I have said you already that my domain or my server has already been configured with Cloudflare. In this lecture, we are going to see what is Cloudflare and how we can implement Cloudflare for our website. Normally, Cloudflare doesn't need to be installed as a plugin inside your WordPress. You just need to point your name servers to the name server given by Cloudflare, and Cloudflare will do the rest automatically. Cloudflare is not just a CDN. A CDN just takes your website and provides your website from a nearest server to your visitor. Yes, Cloudflare does that, but it's not just that. It also optimizes your content. That is, it catches your website, it minifies your JavaScript, HTML, CSS. It also follows some automatic optimization called Rocket Loader and much more, which speeds up the loading of your website. Since it's free, there is no loss for you in configuring Cloudflare for your website. Not only that, Cloudflare also acts as a security barrier between your website and hackers. You can also set the security level from essentially off to low, medium, high, and even you can mention that you're under a DDoS attack. Cloudflare also gives you many analytics reports, monitors threats, it gives you traffic control, search engine crawls, real time traffic, geographical IP, and much more. So let's see how we can add a website to Cloudflare. Before clicking this Add Site button, you need to sign up for Cloudflare. Once you have signed up and logged in, just enter your domain here and click Begin Scan. Since I have already added my domain inspirearun.com, I cannot add it again, but let me show you a demo of one of the famous websites called onamtech.com. I am not the owner of onamtech.com and I cannot add it too, but I can show you the process of how to add it. Once Cloudflare finishes the scanning of this website, it will give me the configuration of onamtech.com domain. And if I am the owner of this domain, then my job is very simple. I just need to point my name servers to the name server given by Cloudflare in my domain registrar's dashboard. The configuration is so simple, right? Once the scanning is over, click Continue Setup. So these are the DNS items that are configured for onamtech.com. Though it's added here, this will not work until the name servers of onamtech.com are pointed to Cloudflare. Also, you can choose what are all the subdomains you want to pass it through Cloudflare. For example, if you want to pass mail through Cloudflare, click it and this icon will turn into orange, which shows that the mail server will pass through Cloudflare and will be served by Cloudflare. When I click Advanced, you have the option to upload your DNS files and you can also export this list for your further use. Now click Continue. You will be presented with a free plan, pro plan, and a business website plan. Just click Free and click Continue. If I am the owner of onaltech.com, then I will remove all these 4 name servers and insert these 2 name servers. Once I have done this, within 10 to 12 hours, all of the content of my website will be served by Cloudflare. Also, don't worry, in the meantime, your website will be accessible, but it will be served from your server directly. Once the DNS has got changed to Cloudflare name servers, then it will be served by Cloudflare. Now I am clicking continue and I can even delete all these records or the entire domain name from my account. In this lecture, we are going to see Page Speed Insights by Google developers. To access this Page Speed Insights tool, just search for Page Speed Insights in Google and click the first search result. I am suggesting this method because this URL is a bit lengthy and you cannot remember it. That's why this seems to be the faster method to access Google PageSpeed Insights. Apart from all the other tools that we use to check our speed of the website, for example, webpagetest.org or gtmetrics or tools.pingdom.com, Google's official PageSpeed Insights gives you albeit a different set of instructions and suggestions compared to all others. Let's test our test website, that is seo.inspirearound.com. I'm clicking Analyze button. Once the analyzation is completed, Google will tell you 2 sets of results. One is for mobile and another one is for desktop. If the exclamatory mark is shown in red color, then that means your page speed is terribly slow and you need to concentrate much to optimize it to a higher level. If the exclamatory mark is shown in orange color, that is orange background, then it's somewhat okay, but you need to improve some things. For example, eliminate render blocking of JavaScript and CSS is mentioned as consider fixing, but the same thing is mentioned as compulsory fix in mobile. Though the recommendations are same, some are mentioned as optional in desktop. The same thing is mentioned as compulsory or should fix in mobile. For example, the server response time is 0.35 seconds, which Google recommends it to be under 200 millisecond or zero point 0.2 seconds. The same thing is mentioned as compulsory fix in mobile. This is because the server responded only after 1.4 seconds when accessed via the mobile. In this lecture, we are going to optimize our website for the errors or optimizations that are shown by PageSpeed Insights in the previous lecture. Here comes the recommendations by PageSpeed Insights. Regarding the optimized images, let's deal with this later. In this lecture, we are going to reduce this leverage browser caching and eliminate render blocking JavaScript and CSS in the above fold content. Also, we are going to minify the CSS. I'm going to show you 2 different types of techniques to do this. Why 2 techniques? Can't there be a one solution which serves all these? This is because even with the same server configuration, different WordPress websites acts differently for different types of plugin setups. That's why in this lecture, we are going to configure this total catch plugin completely to deal with the optimizations shown by PageSpeed Insights. If it doesn't solve these issues, then we will move to the second technique where we are going to install some other plugins and they will act together instead of this total catch and they will solve these issues. I have two other websites hosted on the same server, but for one website, when I configured total catch plugin completely, it solved all the issues shown by PageSpeed Insights. Whereas for another website, it didn't solve the issues shown by PageSpeed Insights. So let's try configuring total catch first. Let me enable disk enhanced for page catch and click save all settings. See, the disk enhanced is not working in this website. So let me try disk basic, which should work. If disk enhanced works for your website setup, then go for disk enhanced. If it doesn't, then move to disk basic. As we have seen in the previous lectures, enable Minify and click manual, then click save all settings. Also double check that the tick mark is checked. If it's unchecked, then we need to change some of the settings to make it enabled. Also double check that the object catch and browser catch are enabled. Now move to browser catch tab. Here you need to click set lost modified header, set expires header, set catch control header, set entity tag, set W3 total catch header. If HTTP compression is enabled for your server site wide, then untick this because compressing the same content twice doesn't give you a higher compression but just unnecessarily takes the resources of your server. If your server doesn't compresses your content, then you should tick this checkbox. Also choose don't set cookies for static files. These are the common settings that are applied for all these sections. For example, CSS, JS, HTML, XML, media and other files. Now click save all settings. Once you have saved these settings, click empty the page cache button. Now come to page cache settings. Check cache feeds and then catch 404 not found pages. If you are using disk enhanced method, then uncheck this checkbox and then click save all settings. Now comes the last and most important part, which is Minify settings. Here make sure that the rewrite URL structure is enabled. Now click this help button. You can see that this jquery.js, jquery migrate.min.js, all these files are also shown in remove render blocking JavaScript by Google PageSpeeds. Also, you can see that the style file, which is mentioned here, is mentioned by PageSpeed Insights here. So all these files should appear when you click Help Wizard. Now check all and then click Apply and Close. Come to JS Minify settings and click No blocking using JS for both before head, after body and before body. Also select preserved comment removal and line break removal. Now come to CSS. Don't click combine only and click preserved comment removal and line break removal. Now click save all settings. You should get this message Minify via disk is currently enabled. If it's disabled, then this method doesn't work for you and you need to try the second method that I am going to tell in the upcoming lectures. Now empty the Minify cache, empty the page cache and visit your website once so that to verify that the CSS is functioning correctly. If your website loads like this, that is, the CSS is tampered or damaged, in such case, you need to play with these settings a little bit. Let's choose line break removal in HTML and come to CSS. Here, untick preserved comment removal and untick line break removal. Now click Save All Settings. Instead of emptying the page cache and Minify cache one by one, go to Performance and click Empty All Caches. Now let's refresh our website. Still, this CSS doesn't work well. So let's try Combine Only and click Save All Settings. Sometimes minification creates problems like this, and in such cases, you need to use only Combine Only. If your site doesn't display well even after choosing Combine Only, then you need to uncheck the minification of CSS. So let's disable CSS minification and click Save All Settings. Now let's check our website. See, now it loads well, isn't it? So let's enable it back and let's delete this style CSS alone. And now click Save All Settings and try refreshing your website. So the only CSS file which creates problem for me is the style.css file. Other than that, I have minified all other CSS file in my website, and the site speed is considerably good compared to the previous site speed. Let's give another check in Pagespeed Insights. See, our render blocking for JavaScript files which appeared before have gone, and now only these three CSS files are blocking. Also, the server response time has got improved from 1.2 seconds to 0.82 seconds. So minifying JS is a success, but minifying CSS is comparatively a failure using W3 total cache. So let's try one more thing, that is inline CSS minification, and click Save All Settings. When you are trying in your website, do exactly in the order I have shown you, because inline CSS minification will remove the errors that are shown by PageSpeed Insights, but in some cases they may slow down the page loading time of your website. I have clicked Empty the Page Cache button. Now let's refresh it. It will take some time to clear the cache and catch the page again. So we cannot rerun the test for 30 seconds. So once 30 seconds has passed, we can analyze again. Still, our CSS are mentioned as blocking resources. So using this total cache plugin is a partial success only. That is, we have optimized our JavaScript files from blocking to non-blocking, but we are not successful in minifying or unblocking these CSS files. So disable CSS minify settings and click Save All Settings. Now click Empty All Caches and check your website physically once. Now let's see GT metric speed too. So for the configuration of this website, W3 total cache doesn't improve the page load time or the page size or even the requests. So I'm going to try some other plugins, for example, Speed Booster and other plugins that are going to remove these errors or optimizations that are shown by PageSpeed Insights. In this lecture, we are going to install and configure Speed Booster plugin in our WordPress website. Come to Add Plugins page and search for Speed Booster. The plugin with 60 reviews and 20,000 active installs by the author Tiggy1 is the plugin that we need to install. Click Install Now button. Once installed, activate it and then go to Settings and Speed Booster Pack. We have already optimized the JavaScript using our W3 Total Cache plugin, so don't enable these three options. Enable Remove Query Strings, Lazy Load Images to improve speed, and all these 6 items on the right side. These are just junk header tags. Now click Save Changes. After choosing these options and clicking Save Changes button, click Empty the Page Cache button. Now let's visit our website once before checking for the speed or page speed insights. Now let's retest in GTmetrix. Our page load time has got reduced from 3.4 seconds to just 1 second. Also, our page speed score has got improved from B to A grade. The same case is for Y slow score. Do you know how this happened? All these are because remove query strings and lazy load images to improve speed. What these two things do is, lazy load images is a feature which loads images only when the user pauses on the specific area in the website. So when the website initially loads, the images won't appear. But if the user scrolls the page or if the user pauses on this area, within a fraction of a second, the image will start loading. So those images will not affect your page speed or page speed score. So optimizing those images is not a necessary thing. This is how you can skip the entire optimization of images in your website. Because if you start optimizing your images, then it will generate lots of image files which will pile up your storage space in your server. Also, it will consume lot of CPU resource to compress your image. So let's check our page speed insights. See, our desktop has got a tick mark in green color. Google suggests us to minify CSS, but it gives just a 569 byte reduction, which is even less than 1 kilobyte. So we don't need to worry about these things. Regarding optimize images, in Google PageSpeed engine, the image has got loaded. Only two of the images has got loaded, and the reduction is around 1.6 KB. So we can ignore it. And regarding leverage browser caching, this lorem pixel is an image which I have taken from lorem pixel while creating the dummy content. So if you host all your images from your own website, then you might not get these issues in leverage browser caching, but they are just optional even in the eyes of Google PageSpeed Insights. So let's come to reduce server response time. Our server response has got reduced from 0.8 seconds in desktop to 0.39 seconds. If you want to reduce it further, then you need to upgrade your server. For example, if you are using SAT hosting, then move to business hosting or VPS. That is the only solution to increase your server response time. Now, coming to prioritize visible content and eliminate render blocking, these are optional in desktop, whereas eliminate render blocking and prioritize visible content are compulsory in mobile. Do you know why I am saying this as compulsory? When I am optimizing my previous website, that is inspirearun.com, this was one of the compulsory requirement for me. In this website setup, though prioritized website content is shown in optional, for many of you this may come in should fix requirement. What is prioritize visible content? Let's see the screenshot. This is how first the website has got loaded, and within a fraction of a second all the remaining content has got loaded. So Google says that optimize your website in such way at least the visible content gets loaded first, not like this. In this lecture, we are going to eliminate the render blocking of CSS and JavaScript, which was shown as an error or the compulsory correction that we should make by PageSpeed Insights by Google. To eliminate the render blocking of JavaScript and CSS, we need to install two more plugins. But before installing, you need to change some settings in Total Cache. Come to Object Cache in General Settings and untick it, and then tick Database Cache. By doing this, you will reduce your response time of your site, as well as if the disk enhanced is not compatible earlier, now you can choose this. After choosing disk enhanced in page cache and enabling database cache, click Save All Settings. Then come to Minify in the left side panel and make sure that you have ticked Rewrite URL Structure. Other than this, you should uncheck all the items in this page. To make sure, let me tell you in words too, that is, I have unchecked HTML Minify settings, JS Minify settings, and CSS Minify settings. I have unchecked 3 of these checkboxes, and then I have saved all settings by clicking this button. So the only checkbox that should be checked in this page is Rewrite URL Structure. That is why I have kept the Minify option enabled in General Options. Now, open the Speed Booster pack in our Settings side panel, and this is the configuration that we have made in the previous lectures. Now, check Move Scripts to Footer, defer parsing of JavaScript files, and remove extra font awesome styles. Make these 3 checkboxes checked and then click Save Changes. After that, come to Add New Plugin and search for Autoptimize. Note that the last letter of Auto, that is O, and first letter of Optimize are common. There are no two O letter, only one O letter is present. So while searching, keep a note on that and then install this plugin. Then search for Above the Fold Optimization and install this plugin too. Once you have installed Auto Optimize plugin, open the settings of that plugin, then you will land on this page. Now check Optimize HTML code and check Keep HTML comments. Don't check Optimize JavaScript code, but check Optimize CSS code. Now click Show Advanced Settings and then check Also Aggregate Inline CSS. Now click Save Changes and Empty Cache. Now come back to Minify settings in our WP Total Cache and come down to CSS settings. Just check Enable for a moment, but don't click Save All Settings. Here you could find the previous Google font CSS if you were using Google Fonts. Now select the URL of Google font and copy it and then disable the CSS Minify settings. Now paste that URL in your address bar and press enter. You will get a CSS code like this. Select all by pressing Ctrl A and then click copy. Once you have installed Above the Fold Optimization plugin, you can find it under Performance Above the Fold. Click this To open above the fold settings, you will get this default page. Make sure that Optimize CSS delivery is checked. Enhanced load CSS is also checked, and click the position from footer to header. If Optimize Google Fonts is checked, make sure it's unchecked. Now paste this Google Font CSS into inline CSS and then click Save. Now come back to Auto Optimize Settings and then come down to CSS Options and check Remove Google Fonts. Now click Save Changes and Empty Cache. Once I have made these changes, I ran the GTmetrix test and my result was 0.4 seconds page load time and the page size is 921 KB with just 16 requests. You can see my page speed score has got up to 98% and Y-slow score is 98%. Regarding page speed insights, let's rerun the analysis. Now eliminate render blocking has come down to consider fixing because all the JS or JavaScript files and CSS files has been removed. Instead, there is only one file which is combined by our Auto Optimize plugin is acting as a blocking CSS resource. Also, Pagespeed asks us to optimize our images and reduce our server response time. Once our cache files has got accumulated, this response time will decrease to 0.3 seconds. Then the only thing that we need to optimize is our images. So let's empty all our caches and let's rerun our page speed analysis. As I said, the server response time has gone down from 2.3 to 0.34 seconds. The same is in the case of desktop too. So the only thing that we need to do is optimize images. In this lecture, you are going to learn how to optimize your database tables of your WordPress website. Come to Add Plugins page and search for WP Optimize. The first plugin with 400,000 plus active installs is the plugin that we need to install. Click Install Now button and then activate the plugin. This plugin will clean up your database table of your WordPress website. Go to WP Optimize on the left side panel. By default, the first 4 checkboxes are checked and the last 3 checkboxes remains unchecked. The first one is to clean all post revisions. Whenever you publish a post and then whenever you update it again and again, there are multiple number of revisions that are created for each post. Those revisions are often unnecessary, so it's better to clean them all. Sometimes when you start posting and you may discard it due to various reasons, those posts are saved as auto drafts. You might have deleted some posts and those posts will remain in your trash. All these posts will be deleted if you check this checkbox. Next comes the spam comments and the comments in trash. And at last, if you wish to remove your unapproved comments too, then you can tick this checkbox. I recommend to leave these 3 checkboxes which are written in red color to keep them unchecked. Take this Optimize Database table and then click Process. If you want to be fail-safe, you can just take a backup of your WordPress database using the WP Backup plugin that we installed earlier. Now click Process. Since this is a new installation, I don't have any post revisions or posts and comments in trash. But if you have installed your WordPress some 6 to 8 months earlier, then you might be having lot of post revisions and comments in trash. In that case, this plugin will clean up a lot of mess from your WordPress website. Once you have done this optimization, it's better to disable this plugin, but don't delete it. Just keep it disabled. After 1 month or so, activate it again, then run it and process your database tables. So let me disable it and then empty the page cache. In this lecture, you are going to learn about the software File Optimizer. This software will compress images of several types, such as JPG, PNG, and even GIF. But the only drawback is you need to run this software in your computer. But that is the advantage too. If you are using shared hosting, then using an image compressor plugin in your server will put too much load on it, which may make your hosting provider to temporarily throttle the speed of your website or suspend your website for a certain limited amount of time. That's why I recommend File Optimizer for those who have bought cheap hosting and who doesn't want to stress their server to the peak. Also, if you have got thousands of images in your website, for example 10,000, 20,000 images, then compressing the whole bunch of all images will take more than 24 hours of time for your server. So it's better to download those pictures, store it on your PC, and compress using File Optimizer, and then overwrite them back using any FTP program. This is the File Optimizer software. You can choose the optimization level and it automatically replaces all the files in a particular folder, which means you need to open this software and then drag a folder into it. It recognizes all the pictures and files inside that folder and even the subfolders. So once you have dragged and dropped a folder which contains all the pictures, just click Optimize All Files. This will compress the images to the optimized level possible. Once the process has got completed, you can upload all your pictures back. This is the download link for this File Optimizer software. I will provide this download link in this lecture as a resource in the top right side. In this lecture, you're going to learn how to optimize the images in your website using a plugin in your WordPress website. Go to Add Plugins page and search for Smush, SMUSH, and then the first search result, that is WP Smush, is the plugin that we need to install. Click Install Now button and then activate this plugin. To speed up the process, I have already installed and activated the plugin. To access the settings of this plugin, go to Media and then select WP Smush. There is a Smush Pro plugin upgrade available, but for normal usage, that is to compress and optimize images, the normal light version, that is WP Smush, is enough. Smush can optimize images while you upload them into the server or while you add them in a new post. Also, to optimize the images that you have already uploaded in the previous post, you can use Smush in bulk feature, but the limitation is that in this free plugin, you can smush only up to 50 images at a time. After that, you need to again click this bulk smush now button. So if you have 1000 images on your WordPress website, then you need to click this bulk smush now button 20 times. That's why I suggested File Optimizer software in the previous lecture for the websites which have lot of images in their WordPress websites. In this test website, I have just added 20 images and they are not optimized or compressed, so let me bulk smush them now. While smushing each images, the images are uploaded to a server and then they are compressed there and they are returned back to your server in this WP Smush It plugin. If you wish for your images not to leave your server, then in the next lecture, we will see another plugin called Ewww Image Optimizer plugin, which will compress or optimize all the images in your website within your server itself, but it may consume some of your CPU resource. Now, all of my 20 images are compressed or optimized. You can even optimize your images individually in your media library. In this lecture, we are going to see Ewww Image Optimizer plugin. As usual, go to Add New Plugins page and search for Ewww. The first plugin that is displayed here is a plugin we need to install. Once you have installed and activated the plugin, go to Settings and then Ewww Image Optimizer. By default, you will be taken to Basic Settings tab. The cloud settings is mentioned for the premium purchase. So in the basic settings, you have a few options such as to remove metadata such as EXIF and comments from your images to compress them. Also, you can choose a bulk delay to mention how long to pause between images while optimizing. The unit that you mention here is in seconds. If you mention 0 or if you don't mention anything, that means this option is disabled. Let's move to advanced settings. The specialty of this Ewww image optimizer is that you can choose the optimization level for PNG files. Level 1 will be the faster technique and level 5 will be the slower technique. Also, level 1 produces the minimum compression, whereas level 5 gives you the maximum compression. So you can choose according to your level or you can leave the default settings. Another feature in this plugin is you can schedule your optimization so that a WP cron job will be added, so your images will be compressed or optimized in the background. But note that when you use this scheduled optimization, the compression may take a long time to complete. Deferred optimization. When you tick this checkbox, the images won't be compressed immediately while upload. Instead, it will be optimized later via WP cron job, similar to scheduled optimization. By default, Ewww Image Optimizer plugin optimizes your image whenever you upload it. If you want to disable that feature, then you can click Disable Automatic Optimization. Disable resizes. This is one of the important feature if you want to save your storage space. For example, whenever you upload an image, there will be 3 to 4 images or copies of that image that will be created in your uploads folder. Those 4 images are the resize of your original image, that is thumbnail, medium, large, and post thumbnail. You can individually disable the optimization of these different sizes, or you can even disable the creation of these sizes. But this disabled size is entirely the opposite of image optimization because these individual sizes are created to compress your image. If you disable these creations, you can save storage space, but it will highly affect your page speed or page loading time. To save your CPU resource, or if you wish not to stress your server, then you can skip small images or large PNG images here. Let's move to conversion settings. Here you can opt for deleting the original files after successful conversion. Also, you can opt to convert JPG to PNG or PNG files to JPG, GIF files to PNG. So, Smush It and Ewww Optimizer both do the same job, but they differ in feature sets. Smush It is a simple and easy to use plugin, whereas Ewww is complex but feature rich plugin. It's up to you to decide which plugin you want to use. In this lecture, you're going to learn a workaround technique to optimize images, but without directly optimizing the images. In the previous lectures itself, I have told you that we can lazy load the images to escape from optimizing the same. But over the course of speed optimization, we saw in Eliminate Render Blocking lecture that though we attained 0.4-second page speed in GT metrics, page speed insights doesn't give a green tick mark in mobile and desktop. But in this lecture, after doing this simple workaround, I got 88 out of 100 in mobile as well as an awesome 96 out of 100 for desktop. Also, we got green tick for both mobile as well as desktop. But in GT metrics, the speed has got considerably reduced from 0.4-second page load time to 1.1 second on first time loading. With the repetitive loading, the page load time has got reduced to 0.9 second, but still it's higher than 0.4 second, which we got in Eliminate Render Blocking JavaScript and CSS lecture. But you need to balance both page speed as well as Google PageSpeed Insights score. So if you want just the raw page speed, then follow the technique that we have done until the lecture before this. But if you want a perfect balance between PageSpeed Insights score as well as your page load time, then this lecture will tell you how to do it. This is above the fold optimization plugin which we have configured in Eliminate Render Blocking lecture. I haven't touched any settings in this plugin. Just to confirm you, I am showing this page. This is the CSS of our Google fonts which we have already copied in the Eliminate Render Blocking lecture. Now let's come to W3 Total Cache dashboard or the general settings. Here I have disabled the Minify entirely. But in Eliminate Render Blocking lecture, we just enabled the rewrite URL structure inside Minify, which somehow creates some problem in PageSpeed Insights and it reduces the score, but still it helps in decreasing the page load time. But still, to get the balance, we need to disable the Minify entirely. Instead, we can do the minification using Speed Booster and Auto-Optimize plugins. So disable the Minify and click Save All Settings. Then come to Speed Booster options, which you can see in Settings Speed Booster Pack. Already we have configured the Speed Booster plugin in the same manner you see now, but there is a minor change. In the exclude scripts from being moved to footer, expand this and copy paste this SPB lazy load images in script handle and the URL of that JavaScript in this box. You can find this in this region, then copy paste it here and then go to change the default image compression level and reduce it from 90 to 75. Then click Save Changes. We have come to the final optimization, that is Auto-Optimize Settings. Here, come to CSS options and then check Inline All CSS. Then click Save Changes and Empty Cache. This will take you to the green tick mark for both mobile as well as desktop. And also it will increase your score beyond 90 in desktop and beyond 85 in mobile. Also, you can attain a page speed of less than 1 second in GT metrics. In this lecture, you are going to learn how to specify image dimensions in your WordPress post. Normally, when you copy images from another sites or from Google Images, the image dimensions are not specified by the WordPress by default. Let's see it in the HTML format. After this alias word is the image that is found here. When you copy the image from Google Images or another site, this width and height are not specified by default. So, after copying or adding the image, click on Edit and then align it to left, center, or right, and then click Update. Once you have done that, WordPress will automatically add the width and height of the picture too. Also, in case of pictures that you upload from your media or in your WordPress site, like this picture, let's find it in HTML section too. So this is the picture, and when you add it in full size, or if you don't mention a size like this, when you just don't select anything in this size and if you just click update, sometimes the image dimensions are not specified by the WordPress. In such case, make sure to double check and click the drop down box and choose any of these preset sizes and click update. This will add the image dimensions of the image like this, that is the width and height. This is a must-have requirement by Google PageSpeed Insights. In the next lecture, let's see another method of moving JavaScript files to the footer instead of using Speed Booster's move script to the footer. For some sites, this move scripts to footer works well, but for some sites, this may not give the best possible speed. So just try both the methods and then use it which one is effective for you. In this lecture, we are going to see the method 2 for moving JavaScript files to the footer. In Workaround to Optimize Images lecture, we saw this configuration for speed booster options, but with the method 2, we are going to disable move scripts to footer in speed booster options. So uncheck move scripts to footer and then click Save Changes. Then open Auto Optimize under your settings panel. Then enable Optimize JavaScript code as well as enable Aggregate Inline JavaScript, and then enable Add Try Catch Wrapping. Then click Save Changes and empty cache. Then empty all caches of your WordPress total cache by going to Performance, empty all caches. After this, I have performed the speed test in GTmetrix, which gave me 0.5 seconds page load time and 99% in page speed and YSlow score. This is the highest score as well as the almost lowest page load time. You can see here, everything is 100 except for 99 in Minify HTML and JavaScript and Optimize Images, which is 97%. This is absolutely normal. Not only this, in PageSpeed Insights, I got a whopping 89 out of 100 for mobile and 95 out of 100 in desktop. This is the comparison of the previous settings, which gave us 1.1 second, but this method 2 gave us 0.5 seconds page load time.